And good morning. The brightest and colorful breakfast show is back on your television screens. Good morning to you. This is Breakfast Central on News Central. My name is Olisa Chukuma.
And good morning, Africa. My name is Oluchi Inobong. How quick time flies. This is the last full working week in the month of August, being today, Tuesday, the 24th day in the month of August. And we are Africa Fest, broadcasting live from our news studio in Lagos, Nigeria. But let's start with a look at the headlines today, August 24th, 2021.
We'll start in Zambia, where presidents are arriving for the inauguration of that man, Hichilema's inauguration.
And we will be going to Uganda, where police confirmed case of Major General Lukeche's death.
Also on the program, baby horror in South African hospital revealed. We'll have more of that on the program.
And the court in Nigeria orders NAD to suspend the strike. Why? More on that.
Also, a look at the trend waves across Africa with trend waves. And you're watching Breakfast Central on News Central with Olisa and Oluchi.
Right, now let's start off in South Africa, where the Mpumalanga High Court will today see 4 mothers suing the local hospital for medical malpractice with their newborn babies. Now, in 2 of these situations, the bodies of the 2 stillborn babies went missing. And in another 2 cases, the newborns had their arms amputated due to alleged gross negligence.
Now, the incidents happened at the Witbank Hospital between December 2020 and June 2021. Now, the 4 mothers have now filed a joint court action against the hospital and the province. Now, the mothers want the court to declare the hospital's actions as unlawful and unconstitutional. Now, joining us this morning is a lawyer in the case, that's Mabu Maweshe, to bring more perspective on this issue, medical issue, malpractice in South Africa. Well, Mabu, good morning. Welcome to the program.
Good morning, and
now, Mabu, let's start with the case that will be in court today. What really happened with these babies, and how did it even go unnoticed, knowing that this is not the first time we've had similar situations like this that has happened in this particular hospital?
Yes, that's a good question. What had happened with in the case that we are in court before today is that the 2 mothers, being the first and second applicants, they gave birth at the Witbank Hospital in December 2020 last year. And since then, there were issues that happened. The first applicant has never seen the child that she gave birth to. And even today, we have never found the remains of the stillborn, as it is alleged that the child was stillborn. We have never seen the remains. Hence, we are in court today to ask the court to declare that the conduct of the MEC of Health and that of the CEO of the hospital is unlawful and unconstitutional, and they should be ordered to go and search for the remains and the DNA test to be conducted so that we can ascertain if the remains that were found decomposed in the fridge in the hospital in December, they belong to our client. Now, the other issue is with the second applicant who gave birth also in the same hospital, and the stillborn child was then handed over to the other family in December because that family complained that they could not find the remains of their stillborn child. Then with immediate effect, the family then went to bury that stillborn child. Then there was an exhumation that was done also in an illegal manner, But even after the stillborn child was exhumed, the hospital and the MEC refused to conduct the DNA test in order to ascertain if the stillborn remains belongs to our clients. Now, you'd also see that we have other two women there who took their little babies to hospital for different illnesses, but the children ended up losing their arms. Their arms were amputated for this gross negligence. So today, the purpose of going to court to ask the court is for the court to declare that the conduct of the MEC and the hospital officials are unconstitutional and unlawful, and there must be actions that are taken. We have already instituted another civil action for damages, which we are suing for medical negligence for all these matters that have happened.
All right, Mabu. So what type of redress are the mothers seeking for here? Is it just purely financial, or perhaps a change in the medical practice overall?
It's a financial and also what we call structural remedies. So we are asking the court to issue an order that will be structural in nature, that will see to it that there is a change in terms of the policy, and that the hospital must and the MEC must make sure that there is a policy in place which is in line with the Constitution, and that policy must be delivered to the court. It must satisfy the court that it's in compliance with the Constitution, that women will not, any other women will not suffer the same damage that our client had gone through. We are also asking the court to grant an order that all these women that were affected must be provided with some sort of like a professional help in a form of psychologist to receive counseling for the trauma that they have gone through, and including their family. So we also asking the court again in general to make an order that the MEC and the hospital must make sure that anyone, including women who goes to that hospital seeking medical help, are treated in terms of the Constitution, and their right to dignity is upheld at all times. So that those are some of the orders that we are asking before the court.
Right, Mabu, now quite an unfortunate situation. We've heard stories, I mean, in the past of even women who have gone to some of this particular hospital to give birth, and they're being whipped while they're in pain trying to push the baby out. Now, sometime last year, the health workers in this hospital actually went on strike because of the insecurity in that hospital. Now, a patient was shot dead on the hospital bed in this same hospital. How common is the issue of medical malpractice? Because we've heard so many stories, and some of these stories have gone unreported. So how common is this medical malpractice or even medical negligence in South African hospitals? Who is even to blame in most of these cases?
It's a good question. It's quite common. I mean, we look at the annual report for the previous financial year. It is quite alarming, and it's terrible. The government, not even talking about the national government, but the provincial a government looking at the Mpumalanga, they spend billions of rands on legal cases, on damages that they get to be sued for this medical malpractices. It is quite common. Well, the blame should start at the top. We should simply start looking at the politicians who are in charge, from the Minister of Health going down to the MEC of Health. Those are political appointees responsible, and to make sure that people who goes to those hospitals are being given the best medical care. But then if you look at the matter and you scrutinize them microscopically, you will see that there is also underlying conditions that needs to be addressed. Some are that they are just inherent attitudes on those that are charged with the responsibilities, the health professionals and the hospitals. They just have an inherent attitude of not helping people who come to the hospital for help. But there's also other issue of shortages of staff. You know, it's true that these health professionals are overworked, they are under-resourced. Those issues must be looked at. You know, the public hospital must be fully resourced in order to be able to execute their constitutional mandate. So there are multiple issues in reality, including those that I have mentioned and others that we can obviously talk about the whole day.
Right, Mabu, reports about some of these newborns having their arms amputated. It was reported that due to gross negligence. But what other reasons have these hospital officials given for, such dastardly actions on newborns?
It's bad that you are asking a question that we're still waiting for the report from them to detail what are the reasons, that they ended up amputating this little baby's hands when the child was just admitted in hospital for flu or for that diarrhea. So we have requested them since then to give us a report, a full detailed report that will give at least a closure to these families as to what might have transpired, what led to these kids losing their arms. But even today, we don't have such a report. But good enough is that at least in their papers, they have made allegations that the matters have been investigated and then done and dusted. But we have insisted, even in court, that in our replying papers, that they must disclose that report to court. If they don't want to disclose it to us or to our clients, at least they must honor the court and show some respect and disclose the report to the court. They have not done so. So we will see how the judge will deal with that matter. Maybe the judge will order them that since they said that they've done investigations, they must disclose the report to the court and to the affected families.
All right, thank you so much, Mabu Maweshe, lawyer in South Africa, as we follow the case of the babies and the hospital out there in South Africa. Thank you so much for your time, Mabu.
Thanks very much. I appreciate it.
You're still watching Breakfast Central on News Central. More top stories up next.
Right, we move to Zambia now, where a number of African leaders are expected in Zambia later today for the inauguration of the president-elect, that's Hakainde Hichilema. The 59-year-old was actually declared by the Electoral Commission of Zambia the winner of the presidential election that was held on the 12th of August 2021, beating the incumbent president Edgar Lungu.
Well, Hichilema managed to pass the 50% plus one requirement for a presidential winner, with over 2 million votes of the votes, while Lungu got about 1.8 million. Now, some of the leaders that are expected to attend the swearing-in ceremony include Botswana's President Mokgweetsi Masisi, and not forgetting Malawi President Lazarus Chakwera, and the man from Zimbabwe, Emerson Mnangagwa. So some of these dignitaries are expected today for the swearing-in ceremony.
Now, while we're expecting those African leaders to come to Zambia, Zambia itself has declared a public holiday for Hakainde Hichilema's inauguration that's happening today. Now, this is coming at a time where a lot of people are pretty excited and are looking forward to how Zambia will come out of the economic recession that it has been. I mean, because looking at the debt rates that they've accrued over the years, I mean, during Edgar Lungu's time, the debt rate rose to $19 billion. And also the inflation rate in the country, it went as high as 30%, and that's the highest it has been in nearly 2 decades.
So there's a big job for this man, Hakainde Hichilema, after running for president 5 times. On the 6th time of asking, he's successful. He'll be sworn in today. Well, you have to say it's quite fast, because we just had the elections a couple of weeks ago, and he's been declared winner, and he gets swears in later today. And
it seems like the election happened peacefully, and the president agreed that he was indeed taken away, or he lost the election, and he stepped down peacefully. Quite an honorable thing to do at this point in time.
All right, so that will be one of our major stories throughout the broadcast right here on News Central, the inauguration of Hakainde Hichilema out there in Zambia. More top stories coming your way on Breakfast. Now to Uganda, where the police force has confirmed that the sudden death of the Deputy Inspector General of the police unit, that's Major General Paul Lukechi, who's 55, was due to blood clots. Now, the Ugandan Major General Lukechi ultimately demise, which has since left the nation in shock and sent many tongues wagging, occurred on Saturday at his home in Kira municipality in Wikiso district.
Now, according to a statement by the force's spokesperson, that's Mr. Fred Enanga, a team of 4 pathologists carried out an autopsy on the deceased general's body in the presence of 4 witnesses. That is Brigadier General Dr. Stephen Kusasira, now who is the Director of Medical Services in the UPDF. Now, the deceased's personal doctor, Dr. Ben Kingi, and 2 other family representatives were present.
Now, the deceased got a fracture of the right ankle around the end of July this year, which was said to be a simple fracture, which was being managed at Ruby Medical Center by the orthopedic surgeon. So that is the story, the sad passing of this man, Major General Paul Luket, quite sad at the age of 55.
Yes, and his family members did not see. Nobody actually saw this coming because it appeared to be quite a simple medical situation that he was being attended to or being attended for, and it kind of escalated and led to his demise. So quite an unfortunate situation.
So they are pegging it as natural causes.
Right, and blood clots. I mean, from the autopsy that came out, we got information that blood clots was one of the things, or one of the major things that probably led to the death of this man. Now, when you go for certain procedures, there are certain medications that you would be advised not to take based on your blood history, because there are some medications that would lead to blood thinning, some medications would lead to more blood loss, and so many other complications that can happen from this.
Well, we don't have the Major General's Major General's health history. That will be held by the hospital that he was being treated for, and after that ankle problem. So it's quite a shocking one, because you look at the picture, you look at the photo of an active police Major General, looking quite healthy, then suddenly passes.
And Abdinal Aden will be joining us later on this particular story to give an update on how what is happening to the case and what the doctors and the people, his family members, are doing to ensure that the right report is what led to his death.
All right, still Breakfast Central on News Central from Uganda. Let's now take you to West Africa, Nigeria, where Justice John Takema of the National Industrial Court sitting in Abuja, Nigeria, has ordered the striking resident doctors of the country to suspend the strike it started on the 2nd of August.
Now, the court also adjourned to September 15 the suit the federal government brought against the Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors. Now, Justice John Takema made the order just yesterday while delivering ruling on an expert application brought before the court by the government, with the court stating that the application was granted after carefully considering the process filed by the applicant.
All right, so there you have it. Is the judge who clearly is saying that the National Association of Resident Doctors to suspend their strike.
And I mean, information has also come out in the report based on the breaking story as it is developing, that the NAD people, that's the National Association of Resident Doctors, have come out to say that they will go back and they will continue, because this is not the first time they've had this arrangement or this monologue or dialogue, as you can put it.
How many point agenda are we now between the federal government and the National Association of Resident Doctors? Because it was the case of our points not met yet.
Now, let's also not forget that during the meeting, the minister said that they had actually they had reached agreement the previous night on all the 12 disputed issues, adding that implementation would start yesterday, being August 23rd. But the question a lot of people are asking is, why isn't NAD willing to work with the federal government? Let's not forget that this is not the first time that NAD is having this dialogue, this agreement, this memorandum of understanding with the federal government. But it seems somehow one party seems to go back on their word and they go back to status quo.
Well, one of the ministers who's been at the forefront of this dialogue is Minister of Labour, that's Chris Ngige. In that meeting that on Friday, August 27, resident institutions would have started getting their money, with each receiving about over 542,000, which is supposedly should have brought some optimism to the association. But it looks like it's not really making any headway on that.
Well, we can only watch and see how this unfolds in the country. But while this is happening, let's not forget the number of deaths that are happening in the hospital. While coming to work this morning, I was just listening to radio, and a person called and said he lost his mother because resident doctors are on strike. For every day that these doctors are on strike, we have millions, thousands of Nigerians who do not have access to healthcare in the hospitals. Let's also put that into consideration when we're trying to get our right or stand for what is right. All
right, so with each passing day, more health problems for people stuck with needing treatment or life-saving treatment across different parts of Nigeria due to this strike by the National Association of Resident Doctors. Well, you're still watching Breakfast Central on News Central. Up next is the newspaper review. And you're watching Breakfast Central. Let's go straight to the front pages of some newspapers across the continent of Africa. And we'll start in Nigeria, Oluchi, with the Punch.
Right, and the Punch newspaper has a lot to talk. Now, we are looking at the Petroleum Industry Act. It's no longer a bill, but the act and the loopholes. Now, the header here says 36 states set up 6-member panel. Plan amendments. This is on page 2 of the Punch this morning. Now, looking at the upper right-hand side of page of the Punch, the headline here says, Secondus attacks Wike, Rivers Court suspends PDP chair. That's on page 11 of the paper this morning. Now, you can also see this picture here. It's a picture of people who are quite optimistic as they're in a religious setting. They seem to be giving praises, I may add, in the path of Nigeria here. What exactly are they quite hopeful for? You need to go to the middle page of the Punch newspaper this morning.
All right, so let's go to the daily news, and that will be in Zimbabwe to see what they have for us this morning in the southern parts of Africa. So the daily news have got interesting one here. It talks about recovering Zimbabwe. Recovering Zim gets decisive lift as US $1 billion IMF bonanza, they've tagged it, is set to further stabilize prices, boost job creation. But there you have it, and there's a picture of the finance minister, Mthuli Ncube, on the front page of the Daily News in Zimbabwe. So receiving whopping $1 billion IMF bonanza, they've called it, to set further stabilize prices and boost jobs. Also on the front page of the Daily News in Zimbabwe, government workers car scheme extended. We'll find out more on that. And at the top left there, it talks about exotic dancer. Bev bears her soul. More on that on the front page and inside the Daily News in Zimbabwe.
All right, still from the papers this morning, we are going to the Herald paper in Zimbabwe. Now, the Herald paper talks about money. Now, one major story here says Zimbabwe receives $1 billion IMF windfall today. Wow, this is good news.
The bonanza, right?
The bonanza that you just read from your story. We also have that in the Herald newspaper this morning. You need to go to page 4 for more details. Now you can see the president here, and you can see him walking so confidently as we hear this that says, let's take a leave from Zambia, says the president. Now you can find this more from the page 2 and 4 of the Herald newspaper. Also, the last one we have here from the Herald newspaper in Zimbabwe talks about vaccination. It says, U.S. hails vaccination campaign. Are they doing the right thing? More details from the Herald newspaper in Zimbabwe.
All right, so we brought you a story about the striking Doctors Association, Resident Doctors Association in Nigeria, and the new court's order by the justice. To really bring more context into this, we're joined by our guest, who is also a public health specialist, Dr. Tuyi Mbawewondu. Dr. Tuyi, good morning. Welcome to the program, Breakfast Central.
Good morning.
Good morning, Dr. Tuyi. Now, the union, after a meeting they had with the Labour Minister, stated that it would proceed with a case at the National Industrial Court, NIC. But now the court has ordered that the strike be suspended with immediate effect. Where does this even leave NARD?
I expect the medical doctors, being respectable citizens, to obey court orders. We cannot solve chaos with chaos. But what is important is this. What you cannot obtain by respect, what you cannot obtain by being sincere and being truthful and being honest and being honorable, you will get it by court order. It's nice for government to say, okay, we're going to go to court and try to push some things. But again, what kind of victory is that? There are critical issues that are under discussion here. There are critical issues that are under discussion. And the issue is simply that government should honor their agreement. That's the simple thing. And well, if at the end of the day, the doctors go back to work, which I expect them to do, because it is an order of the court, government should be able to stand up and then use this to redeem their name and ensure that the whole process, the whole agreement is properly put in context and honored.
Right, Dr. Tuyi. Now, during the meeting, the minister said that they had reached agreements the previous night on all the 12 disputed issues and angles, adding that implementation will start from yesterday, August 23rd. So why isn't the association willing to work with the federal government from this point?
For more than 10 years, we've had this. Government saying that their agreement they're going to implement, okay? For more than 10 years. The last time, last year, about 4 strikes. This year, the second one ongoing, all despite the fact that the ministers, not ministers, both health and labor, the House of Reps speakers, the committee chairman of health in Senate, and the committee chairman of health in House of Reps, all of them sat down and signed an agreement. And then still they go back and violate those agreements and refuse to honor the terms of those agreements. So now it's like once bitten, twice shy. If you explain that regularly, what do you expect people to do this time around? Just wake up and believe you? Well, what we're witnessing is that the health system is missing a critical endorsement from those people that are ruling us, because what you see now in Nigeria is that the political leadership, everybody, the religious leadership, all of them, this structure in Nigeria would never patronize public health in this country. They have their own health system outside the country. So in that way, they are not affected, they are not concerned. So if you go on strike or whatever, they will talk with you, they will pamper you and do nothing. And the second, what that does to the health system is that it weakens the health system. It makes people lose confidence in the health system. And then even the consumers of health, like you and I, we're not demanding our health. We're not pushing for legislation that will ensure that the health will be something to be, everybody will be proud of. So, in a way, despite the court order, despite the big part, what we're going to see is still more of the fact that we're not going to get health. Clearly, this health system we're practicing is not working. It's not working.
Right. Now, this health system we're practicing is not working. Now, even though the government has given their word that these monies will be paid, NAD and a lot of other people do not believe that these monies will be paid. But let's talk about industrial action now. We know that the problem has always been there, but it is the solution that seem not to be as effective, because this is not the first industrial action that we're having. This might not even be the last industrial action that we will have when it comes to this talk between the government and the Association of Resident Doctors. What other approach is best effective when it comes to making sure that the government keeps to their word when MOUs like this are brought upon the table?
Now, for me, I had actually suggested that what doctors should do is this. When the government signs an MOU with you or with your association, and it's okay, this is the signature. What I'll probably do is to take that MOU to a competent court of jurisdiction and get it registered and signed as a court judgment. Okay? Because you are dealing with people that don't just really give a damn whether you're alive or not. I'll push first and foremost for that, so that we can get honor. I have to actually mobilize the public behind me in fighting for what is to be essential need of Nigerians. Health is so basic. Health is the foundation of every public good. Health is connected to our civilization. If you saw what health did to the world economy, health did to the world economy, and even the whole world had to lock down. Why will we help? And look at Nigeria, maternal mortality 800 per 100,000, about the highest in the world. Okay, infant mortality, life expectancy 53 years. Infant mortality, we have 600 over, 10,000, very, very, very high. Cholera is ravaging us. Nobody just give a damn. And doctors will just have barely 50,000 registered. Half of them are the National Center of Resident Doctors, and they're not working. So we see honestly that our health does not concern this government, and there's nobody that will go through life without having to experience health visitation or health challenge that needs attention of health workers. And this is what we pay blind eyes to. And then we allow this to continue. Everybody just sits down back and feel that, well, it's the doctor's problem. Yes, it's the doctor's problem, but to come back to help everybody. And we look at it, the universities are on strike. Currently, you cannot train doctors. The capacity to train doctors is challenged. The 30,000 primary healthcare centers all over the nation is not working. Only 6,000 of them are working, just less than 6,000 people. And then we're just playing, we're just...
It's quite, Dr. T. Dr. T, is quite a really sad situation, the standoff between this Association of Resident Doctors and the government. But thank you so much for your time, Dr. T, member one do public health specialist, for coming on Breakfast Central to give us more light on the situation. Thank you once again.
Right. You can still tune in to the 9 a.m. news, where he will be joining live on that segment. But in case you just tuned in, you're watching Breakfast Central on News Central. Now, let's quickly give you a recap of some of the big stories that were brought to you earlier today. Talking about NAS and NAD as they refuse to sign MUO, strike continues.
Also, African leaders are gathering up to watch this man, Hichilema, get his inauguration in Zambia.
And in Uganda, police confirmed of the cause of Major General Lukache's death.
Yes, you're still watching Breakfast Central, Oluchi Lisa. Yes, well, coming up next on the program. We got trend waves, trending stories on the digital space. Amal Kensime standing by. And AfroBasket 2021 in Rwanda kicks off today, or more like jumps off today.
And programs to watch later on News Central TV. Right, you're watching Breakfast Central on News Central. Now, I need to ask you, have you downloaded the News Central mobile app on Play Store and iOS? Well, you need to hurry up and do that right away so you can stay in touch with the latest news, politics, sports, and so much more on the go.
Yes, indeed. As you watch Breakfast Central, let's talk about quite an interesting, quite a bizarre one here. Now, since the start of season 6 of Big Brother Naija, a reality show back in July 24th this year, now the organizers have received numerous praise and also criticism, as some people feel that the show is perhaps inappropriate.
Yeah, some of them have even gone as far as making videos and posts calling for the show to be taken off air. Well, we have one of such videos for you right here on Who Said What.
Hello, everyone. I just want to take a few minutes to talk to you. I would like you to listen to me. I want to say something very important. This is very important. A few days ago, the Lord woke me up at the early hours of the morning, at about 1:32 a.m. And then He began to deal with me and tell me some things. The Lord began to speak to me, and He gave me certain instructions. One of the instructions the Lord gave me is that I should talk to the Big Brother Naija organizers, the organizers of the Big Brother Naija. Now, if you are a part of this organization, Big Brother Naija, listen to me. And if you are among the housemates, if you care, listen to me. The Lord said I should tell you that you have 7 days to close Big Brother Naija. If you do not close Big Brother Naija in 7 days, after 7 days, the judgment of God will come upon you. All the organizers, the judgment of God will come upon you. And what you are going to experience this year and next year, it's something that if ear hears it, it can't be able to contain it. Eyes cannot be able to look upon it. Now, and then everybody in the house, Big Brother Naija house, listen to me if you care. The angel of death is going to be visiting you 1 week after this. If you don't...
Oh my gosh. Ouch. Really. Oh, my days.
I mean, he said 7 days. I mean, that's Pastor Johnson Iwuchukwu, right? And he's a pastor of the REM 5 Fellowship International in Lagos. Redeem 5 Fellowship International in Lagos, Nigeria. And he has come out to give warnings to the organizers of
and
the Big
watchers.
Brother and the watchers and the participants, if possible, as well. Anybody who has one or two connection with Big Brother. And I know he did this on Sunday. Yeah,
7 days.
7 days. So he did this on Sunday.
So
today
technically, there's 2 days.
2
left.
days. Yeah,
2 days gone.
2 days gone.
Five.
Exactly.
Well,
And
looks
he's saying that death will visit the household of each of these kinds of people.
Wow. Okay. Well, quite bizarre indeed. I wonder what Amal, our sister from Uganda, who's been monitoring stuff on Trendwave for us, makes of this. Amal, good morning to you. I know you're quite invested in Big Brother in terms of not just your job, but also your time. I wonder if the 7 days account, also applies to you.
After that prophecy, I just said a little prayer for myself because I don't want any angel visiting me. But talking about Big Brother, we were all thrown off yesterday morning when Dorothy posted on her Instagram stories about EFCC allegedly, should I say allegedly, breaking into her home. She said she found them actually in her living room and they were, they said, oh, this is a Big Brother girl. Now, just a little background for those who may not know Dorothy. She was a contestant in the Big Brother Nigeria season 5. So obviously, she has a lot of fans. So you can only imagine how the whole of social media was quite concerned. Now, EFCC has also come out to explain that they were acting on what they seem to call verified intelligence and they just executed a search warrant on a block of flats. Now, I don't know, they say 9 fraudsters were arrested. I don't know if a search warrant means breaking down doors, but anyway, if you think that's wild, they still went back to her apartment hours later. They went back to her apartment, they didn't give an apology, really. They just went back to her apartment, and we saw it live on Dorothy's sister's Instagram. This whole situation is very disturbing. I want to call it entitlement. I don't know what to, but you know what? Let's just look at the comments that are from her fans on Instagram. So we have Brandon also who says, the intimidation in Nigeria is just something else. Citizens oppressing citizens just because of a little power given to them. We have more comments coming in. Oracle Entertainment who says, I don't get, they came back to threaten her or what, which is what I also don't really understand why they felt the need in this era of social media to come back. And anyway, we have Mercy who says, after this life, I know they come again. Hey, Oluchi, hi.
Okay, so it says, after this life, I know they come again. Make nobody beg me to come back to this world. I think that's the longest shot. Make nobody burn me. I use God beg una. Make una leave me for heaven. This country, SMH.
Wow.
Shaking my head.
We have Swag, who says, instead of apology letter, this country no safe for anybody again. So, it's very disturbing. It's a very disturbing situation, to be honest, because I would say audacity and the entitlement to feel like you can break down someone's door. I don't understand how this is allowed in this day and age. Personally, that is my opinion. And I hope she gets over the trauma, honestly.
All right, so her door was broken down, right?
Yeah.
Allegedly. Wow.
And they went back again.
So
I'm wondering.
Well, she wasn't apprehended in any form, way, or manner, right? She's okay. So she wasn't the person that they were perhaps searching for.
They just felt like they could check a block of flats and arrest people.
Right. So,
Yes.
I mean, and also from what we also saw, what we also read, EFCC, they also arrested about 9 people who were involved in fraudulent activities in that same building, yeah?
Yes, they say that in the block of flats arrested 9 fraudsters, so that's why they had to go apartment to apartment. But it's still, you could knock. I don't see why you'd break down someone's door at 4:45 a.m.
There are reports that perhaps she was invited to their offices and also released later. Any follow-ups on that?
Been released. Yes, now the next trend wave is down to East Africa. Now get this, guys. I don't know whether to honestly laugh or to congratulate these guys, because it might be something serious that needs attention, but not many countries have passed this law. Now a new law has been passed in Nairobi in Kenya, which this states that if you are caught spitting, if you're caught without a handkerchief, sneezing without a handkerchief, you can be arrested and you can be fined. They stated that this is just basically to keep Nairobi hygienic. If you're also caught, I don't know if I can say the words, peeing basically, or defecating, you can also be arrested or fined, basically, sleeping in kitchens or food stores, among other misdemeanors. Now, divorces risk being fined anything between 10,000 Kenya shillings and 500,000 Kenya shillings. Now, in Naira, that's around 37,000 Naira to close to 2 million, 2 million, just because you couldn't go to a toilet, guys. So you can actually serve an imprisonment term from 6 to 12 months. But let's just look at what the people had to say. We have Fortune who says, Wahala for who no get Wahala for who no get handkerchief. We have more comments coming in from Bola who says, please, I support them. We have a lot of them in Nigeria. You'll be coming JJ on your own. One cow will just blow his nose anyhow in your front, thereby spreading their bacteria for you to enjoy. I think they meant to say their bacteria for you to enjoy. It's so disgusting. We have Efe who says that law can never work in Nigeria. Guys, what is your faith? We have some more comments. We have Baba who says,
just no get problem at all. That's what.
So social media is actually quite torn with this, because some people feel like it's not an important law that needs to be passed. Like, why are you scared about people's handkerchiefs? Other people feel like even in these COVID times, this is an important law because you need to keep the place hygienic, because Nairobi is the face of Kenya, to be honest. So keeping the city clean, we have seen clean cities like Rwanda. So laws like this, some people feel is a right step in, in a clean city. What do you guys think?
So basically, you're not allowed to blow your nose without a handkerchief in public now. That's what it means.
And you're not allowed to urinate publicly. You're not allowed to pour out saliva publicly. It must be done with decorum.
Okay. Well, if you wear a mask, I think it solves everything.
Does it?
Thank you so much, Amal, for sharing the latest trend with us. As always, you were eccentric.
Thank you so much.
All right, next on the show, we have Sport Update with Olisa.
Still to come, all about AfroBasket 2021 is Basketball Africa. Lots of teams to take part at the Kigali Arena in Rwanda. We'll be telling you all the matches to watch out for today in the world of basketball. Stay with us. Right. So let's talk about some basketball for you in the world of sports. So it starts today, finally after experiment and COVID-19 restrictions and all that. AfroBasket 2021 in Rwanda. It's jump ball today. Congratulations to the teams who have qualified, and good luck to them as they will be getting to get it all good and go for the first round of matches today. So many teams who play at the Kigali Arena. That's for sure. We do hear that according to Rwandan authorities, you need to have at least one or double dose vaccinations to gain entry into the Kigali Arena to watch the games. And I think about $7 in terms of the gate fees. So it's AfroBasket 2021 starting up. Teams like Nigeria, Senegal, Rwanda, Cameroon, they'll all be busy for today, but just a couple of matches to expect. Rwanda versus DR Congo starts today, Angola versus Cape Verde, Tunisia versus Guinea, and the Central African Republic against Egypt. So defending champions are Tunisia. Good luck to them as they take on Guinea. Let's see how it all goes. Nigeria, though, are also playing here. Don't forget they went to the Olympics. A kind of a different team that went to the Olympics that will also be playing in AfroBasket with the same coach, Coach Mike Brown. So good luck to them. So it starts today, 24th of August to the 5th of September. Let's see how it goes. Who will be the champions of basketball in Africa? Well, away from basketball, let's talk about the Tokyo Olympic Games. The Paralympics this time. It will start in terms of the opening ceremony at 12 noon West African time. So all is set for the opening ceremony of the Tokyo Paralympic Games. Tokyo will be the first city to stage two Paralympic Games, having hosted it back in 1964 and now doing so in 2021. At this time, around 4,400 athletes from 162 countries and Paralympic committees taking part in this one. There are about 539 medals events across 22 sports. So it officially starts today at 12 noon in terms of the opening ceremony, with the big games starting on Wednesday. So Paralympics continues in Tokyo. We say, let's hope that the games are safe in terms of all the coronavirus and restrictions there. There was football, as we saw it yesterday, between West Ham United and Leicester City. 4-1. It finished between those two. A man from Algeria scored the first goal for West Ham, and that is Said Benrahma. He scored the second goal, actually, for them. But that man there, Mikel Antonio, scored twice to become West Ham's all-time leading scorer in the Premier League. He also celebrated with a card of himself. There was a red card for Jose Perez early on in that match, and it all went quite sour for the Leicester City team. So with this victory for West Ham and Antonio's goal, it means that West Ham are top of the English Premier League table. Yeah, it's only match day 2, but they will take what they can get. So the likes of Wilfred Ndidi and Kelechi Iheanacho, some Africans on the side of Leicester City, but they lost out 4-1, and that man from Algeria scoring amongst the goal scorers for West Ham United. So there will be lots of updates to come much later when it comes to the world of sports.
Right now, before we wrap up, there are some programs that will be happening later today on News Central. Take a look.
At 10:30 a.m., we've got In the Game, everything for the world of sports.
And at 1 p.m. West African time, you'll be watching Beyond the Continent.
Also at 7 p.m. West African time, Village Square Africa with Sulaiman Alede. All right, so that's about it today on Breakfast Central. Lots to follow and track, especially the Zambian inauguration of Hakainde Hichilema as the new president of the country.
And also in Nigeria, looking at whether or not NAD will suspend their strike or go ahead and continue in the country.
We also talked about the big case in Uganda. A Major General who died on Saturday due to blood clots, as it was reported, and autopsy has been going down out there in Uganda.
And we went to South Africa, where we brought in the lawyer who is involved in one of the cases with the Witbank Hospital, talking about how a newborn, not even a little child, a newborn went in with a case of diarrhea and came back with an amputated arm. More on that as the story unfolds.
All right, we also brought you some sports updates. So Afro-Basket starting today. That's for sure basketball at its best. Good luck to Team Nigeria and also defending champions Tunisia. But Senegal, we might have to watch out for them. The Paralympics start today, opening ceremony. And also we saw West Ham getting a 4-1 win over Leicester to stay top of the English Premier League. It doesn't happen every day, does it?
All right. Now, I know you're a fan of basketball, but for you, the last time you had the basketball competition that you were involved in?
That was 2 weeks ago.
Okay, so how was it for you?
Stressful. Stressful. All right, that's our package. Big up to the production team. We'll be with you once again tomorrow, same time, 8 a.m. West African time for Breakfast Central on News Central.
Adama.
Bye-bye.